All right, welcome back. So today we're going to truss chicken and we're gonna roast it for dinner. So we're gonna do the roasting method, which is the dry heat method. We made a little compound butter, which is basically you soften butter, you're going to whip it up and then you can add different spices and herbs to it. I did a chive garlic butter that I'm going to put in between my chicken meat and the skin layer to add some flavor throughout the cooking process. So I'm gonna use a pastry bag to pipe this in there. And we're doing this before we truss. Traditionally, trussing was done with a needle and some thread or butcher twine. So we have our butcher twine ready for us, and now we don't need to needle it. So I'm going to show you a method where you use the butcher twine, and it's to help it bake evenly throughout. So you get a chicken that is done at the right temperatures without meat that is dried out. So I'm going to push this down into my bag. And I'm going to go ahead, so this is my chicken, breast up, you have your legs and your wings. I'm going to go ahead and stick my finger in here and start separating the skin from the meat. And then when I get a clear passage here, you can see my finger coming through. I'm gonna go ahead and don't tear the skin during that process. We wanna keep the skin intact. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my pastry bag in, and I'm going to begin piping in. And if you need to, you might wanna cut off more and make a huge hole because we're dealing with a thicker consistency item. I'm gonna pipe this in as far as it'll go back on both sides. And then I'm gonna use my hand and I'm gonna smooth it out, trying to get the compound butter, which once again is just a flavored butter to add flavor, moisture to the chicken, and it helps. Because the butter is in there and it's fat, it helps create the crispy skin that you're looking for. You notice the chicken I purchased does have the breast showing up here. So we're gonna try to tuck that skin in as best as we can when we truss. So once again, just trying to squeeze this in. Now, I'm not gonna save this butter. The chicken, as we know, is very dangerous as foodborne illnesses. So I'm going to clean up thoroughly when I am done here. I'm going to really clean my cutting board, not use the same cutting board later in the day for doing my side items, which we're gonna do mashed potatoes and steamed green beans. And I'm going to make sure I wash my hands thoroughly, and this pastry bag, even if there's butter left in it, I am going to throw it away unless I was doing another chicken. You can do this with turkey, any poultry, so any winged bird that we eat, duck, pheasant, Cornish hens. So I'm getting this in here. The butter will start to warm up with your hands as you smear it in. Sometimes it can be a little hard. You want to get it all throughout the bird here. Okay, so now that I have that, we'll start trussing. So I'm going to zoom the camera in for you so that you can see that method. Okay, so we're going to truss our bird. So here we have our butcher twine. So ideally you want to cut off for a normal size bird. This is a family roast chicken that I just bought from my local butcher market. It's about 3 feet of twine. If you have a little bit extra, it's not a bad thing. So I'm gonna come in here, okay? I'm gonna make sure that my skin is tucked in as best as I can. We're gonna take our wings and we're gonna tuck our wings under. It'll tuck, there it goes. Okay, so tuck your wings under. Take the legs of your bird and stick them up to start. Then you're gonna come in about 2 inches or so. Make sure your twine is even. Okay, we are going to come across the top of the chicken legs across so that we are through here, okay? Then we are going to tighten that up. You want to keep the breast tucked under. So if it comes out, keep it tucked under. You're going to go where your leg and your thigh meets, okay? Come under, and we're going to tie at the top. When you tie, you can go through about 3 times. That way it doesn't slide on you. You want it nice and tight. And then we'll just tie it in a knot and cut off our excess. So you can see here, the wings are tucked. This, you can't really help. If it comes out like that, you can't really stop that from happening. You can try to tuck the tip or the skin under your butcher twine. Notice over here how nicely packed it is. It cuts right through the leg and the thigh up to the top. My wings are tucked, and I can push this down even more. That's just a little compound butter there. Once again, the skin was already kind of ripping when I came out, but you want to try to tuck that skin in to protect the meat so it doesn't dry out during cooking process. Darker meat usually takes longer. So we are looking for the temperature of 165 degrees to know that our chicken is done. We're gonna stick that into the fattest part of our bird. And we just have a sheet tray here that we're gonna put the chicken on in the oven at 350. It takes about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes to roast the chicken. And you can season it before putting it in, but because I have this compound butter underneath and it's full of spices and herbs and things like that, I'm gonna let that go ahead and flavor everything and make a golden brown skin. And that's it. Okay, so I have my chicken here. We're gonna go ahead and stick that in the oven. Make sure your rack is a little lower. You don't want it too high to the top because the heat rises. And then we're gonna go ahead and set our timer for about an hour. We can check on it throughout, check on it about 45 minutes, especially if it's a smaller bird. And then that's it. Okay, so our roasted chicken came out of the oven, and something I didn't mention earlier, you can always put your chicken in a roasting pan. You can add onions in there. You can put things in the central cavity. Lemons are always good. The lemon juice goes and flavors your chicken, so you end up with like a lemony chicken. You can do a shallot, onions, anything you would like. And you can also do it on the outside. You can do a matinee or matignon, which is like ham and mirepoix on the bed, and then you can eat that bed. It's edible. You can eat that later. So we're gonna go ahead and untie. All I'm gonna use is my kitchen shears and remove the butcher twine from the chicken. The top of my chicken got a little bit more color than the rest because I just left it in there. You can turn your bird every 20 minutes. You could do one side, the other, and then so forth, working your way around. In restaurants and things, when you get roasted chicken, they obviously have a rotisserie, so the bird is constantly rotating while it's getting cooked. So don't be confused why you got this massive color here and not evenly throughout your bird. I did not turn mine. So now carving it. So we're gonna go ahead and cut down by the legs. And we're gonna open this up. And we temped it in the oven. We checked for 165 degrees. And then we went ahead and we let it cook for a couple of minutes with the carryover heat. So I'm gonna cut the thigh. And I am using a boning knife because it allows me to maneuver in there like I want to. So I'm cutting the thigh away. I'll just pull away nice and easy. This is the thigh and the leg connected together, and I can unconnect these if I choose, or I could serve them like this. You could also just cut the bird in half. You might have seen this maybe if you've been to a Boston market or a barbecue place. They'll come out and you will cut the bird in half and you get half the bird or a quarter of the bird. So then we're gonna find the breastbone that runs right up in the middle of the bird. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut that down. And then we're gonna cut this chicken breast and remove it It's a little hot still, so. Okay. So I'm gonna remove this chicken breast from the bone. You can see how nice and hot it is. Steam's coming out of it. I have a towel underneath my cutting board that allows the juices to go right into the towel and not make a huge mess on my countertop. Because of the compound butter, it can be very messy. And then we'll get to the wing. There you go. So we're gonna do that to the other side, and then we will have our roasted chicken dinner.